A new elected government has been reinstated in Japan under the leadership of Fumio Kishida. The country has been under scrutiny for some time now, as many speculate that Japan has been suffering a political setback under the leadership of the former Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. However, all eyes are now on the current incumbent government, and the question which arises is whether Kishida can do justice to the distinct Japanese politics which is known to the world and whether he will be at par with the great Shinzo Abe. Greetings to our viewers. I welcome you to this segment produced by the Kootneeti. Today we have Shashank S. Patel joining us, who is a PhD scholar and also a research analyst at the Kootneeti. So my first question would be that it has almost been a month whereby the new Fumio Kishida government has been elected into power. And what do you have to say on the present political situation in Japan, and how would you assess this 1 month of the Fumio Kishida government?
Arijita, in terms of political grounds, things are shaky nowadays. The resurrection of the former PM Abe into the party and role of kingmaker in LDP increases the voices of instability among the factions in Japan. And it is interesting to tell you that Shinzo Abe is leading the biggest Hosoda faction of the LDP, which has 92 members, even bigger than the Kishidas. So as of now, Kishida-san already took the 4 meetings with the faction heads in LDP till now, and the things are looking quite as certain. Kishida-san is seen as a very moderate consensus builder image, but also an establishment figure. The main contender he had was from the someone that has been seen as a maverick, more popular with the public like Taro Kono, but he was sidelined. So he was at some point policy chief of the Liberal Democratic Party, but also he had a long tenure as the foreign minister under the Prime Minister Abe, I think for 5 years. So this means that he knows how Japanese politics tick, and he is also very well versed on international relations and foreign affairs. So I believe in the first month of administration, after Kishida performed extra energetically on the policy implementation, which they led prior elections. You can see the efforts, the crafting of the councils, committees, panels, appointments, and induction of industry leaders in several forums was done in a very rapid manner, as Japanese technologies do with prefixed programs. Also, the appointment of General Nakatani, that was a newly created post of the special advisor to the Prime Minister on human rights, will become a tactical to deal with the adversaries in the region. So, in a nutshell, we can see that the things are going in a very positive direction as of now.
The former Prime Minister of Japan, Yoshihide Suga, was subject to criticism and is said to have caused harm to the stability of Japan. Is there any possibility for the new administration to recover Japan from this political setback?
No, I certainly won't believe as the on the assessment that he harmed the stability. The major reason behind his ousting were, I would say, the first one is the prevalent pandemic situation, and the second is the non-backing from the factions in the Liberal Democratic Party, which is the ruling party. So new administration with the new administrator is a settled politician and from a very well-versed political family too. So see, the political setbacks in the Japan arrive with policy failures only. Kishida-san just started his part, hence it will take around a year for his own party and to the masses to analyze his capabilities and shortcomings. His administration recently announced the establishment of 4 specialized executive cum legislative reform panels. The first one is on Digital Garden City State Initiative. The second is on the acceleration of digital regulatory and administrative reforms. The third one is on the social security system for all the generations. This all generation is word is very important here. And the fourth one is they are raising the wages of the nurses, caregivers, and nursery teachers, which was the basic demand throughout the Japan nowadays. So this will catapult the several issues of locals of Japan within the fixed time frame. So I must say here that and it is pertinent to mention that Kishida-san will surely run a long distance in the race of leadership in Japan if the above mentioned issues were properly addressed.
The current Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, speaks of a new kind of capitalism, which he wants to diversify through his policies and his actions. Can you explain what exactly is this new kind of capitalism which is being talked about and what could be its possible prospects?
See, firstly, Kishida-san is heading the Japanese administration with full dedication and determination. He launched the Council for New Form of Capitalism Realization, aimed to devise out that new kind of capitalism and the positive growth of, positive cycle of growth and distribution, which was featured in his election campaigns. The core of new capitalism vested on the redistribution of the wealth and to shrink the inequality in Japan. Today, Japan is battling with stagnant wages and low household income. To cope up with this, uh, Kishida-san is working to amend the corporate governance code, which will force conglomerates to hike the wages that have piled up huge profits in the last decade. And it's evident that Japanese companies have stocked much in the last decade. So but here are cons also, which may disturb the Japan's fiscal health in the future under the new capitalism theory, the principle which the Japan is going with. The Japan's public debt to GDP stands at around 256% right now, and the Central Bank of Japan consistently maintaining the low interest rates. It means there is a very small window for the Kishida-san to borrow. Only the markets are an option left behind. So this new capitalism bring the common prosperity, as it will bound the private entities to push the wages higher in coherence with the inflation rate in Japan right now. But the proposal to raise the capital gains tax will act like the double taxation, which he later took the U-turn for a while. But soon it will be on the foray. So that will be this thing will hamper the growth of some of the private chaebols over there, or the conglomerates, which I can say.
What would be your thoughts on Japan's decision to step up the military, especially at a time when there's much aggression from China and North Korea?
Okay, the see, defense is a thing. It's quite tough to say anything about it. But right now, the East Asian sphere is full of surprises nowadays, and the charged region in the globe, I can say. It is pertinent to mention here the two decisions which was made by the Japan. The first one is exceeding the 1% bar of the GDP on for the self-defense forces, whether it will be JSDF or the SDF forces. And second, the proactive reach towards the military and defense cooperation, like with like-minded nations. So these decisions are based on the changing nature of the adversaries in the neighboring, fueled by the aspirations to reap the gains from infinite possibilities in Indo-Pacific and the near about regions. So whole defense architecture of Japan is upgrading in a way, I can say. My assumption is Japan is again going towards the offensive strategy, like was in the first half of the 20th century, by remaining in the good books of the allies. So this is a comparing the two things into a single window. And and this scaling up of the defense architecture was sensed by many of us when when they released their defense white paper in early 2021. You also saw that picture, the samurai on the horse. So in Hindi we have a very famous line that खत के लिफाफे उनका मजमून बयां कर देते हैं. So you can sense what the Japan is going under the the new molded military strategy for the East Asian sphere and for the Asia also.
My last question to you would be that as a PhD scholar who's very much interested in East Asia and in particular Japan, what do you think India can expect out of the new government in Japan, especially in terms of its economy, technology, and, well, of course, diplomacy?
In economic foray, there is not much to say as it's stagnant from the last 3 years with partial growth. I would say the new avenues will surely going to open in coming days under the ambit of technology sharing and cooperation. It has the biggest potential to pull the strings of cutting edge tech expansion in India, which can be harnessed with the proactive diplomatic engagement from the Indian side. Because Japan is doing consistently from the last 1 year after in the 2021 when the COVID, relaxed somehow with the international diplomacy and relations, and the government associations of Japan are expanding their footfall in Indian markets rapidly in focusing the innovative sectors like space, artificial intelligence, big data, and in smart applications manufacturing. So Indian diplomacy has to reach out these avenues of cooperation from their end to further enhance the figures in the bilateral trade and commerce. The new government of Japan is very positive towards India and are backing all the initiatives with ODA, tech transfer, and all the other means. You can see their ambassadors are and the other diplomats are visiting approximately every occasion of inauguration or the stone laying ceremony in India, where Japan is a party, whether it will be a Northeast, whether it will be Uttar Pradesh, whether it will be a Bangalore or Karnataka, wherever the projects are going on. So it reflects how their government is dedicated towards strengthening of the bilateral relations, engaging the diplomacy. So we also have to reciprocate at the same level.
Thank you so much, Shashank, for joining us today and providing us with an insightful yet a candid conversation. It was indeed a lot of information that we could gather from the recent elections, which has reinstated a new government in Japan. So, to our viewers, don't forget to follow the Kootneeti for more updates on international relations and diplomacy.